Hello, Zach here. I'm the founder of DividendData.com, and I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough video so that you understand more about the platform. I'll share all the different features and where you can find additional tutorials and information. You can think of this as the all-in-one tool for dividend growth investors, and it's really broken up into two different goals. You have stock analysis and then tracking your investment portfolio. The analysis tools are really focused on helping you find better investments. That could be finding more reliable and fast-growing dividends, optimizing for your long-term total return, or finding reliable high-yield options so that you can get more income right now. So if you open the stock analysis tool, you go up to the top here and you have the drop-down menu where you can select and search from 8,000 different stocks. So let's open Microsoft here, for example. You click, and this will basically load a full picture look at the company where you can see all of their financials mapped out with data visualizations and tables. And the idea here is that you're trying to get a full picture look at understanding the business behind the stock. So right off the bat, you can see their earnings per share and how it's growing over time. And you can immediately get a side-by-side look to see if that's matching up with how the stock price is growing over time. By the way, you can close down this sidebar menu at any point. And if we scroll down on the stock analysis page, you can see things like future earnings estimates, consensus price targets among Wall Street analysts. You have buy grades also from Wall Street analysts, and then some information so that you can learn more about the company. You have full financial statements. That includes income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. You can view that annually or quarterly. And then you have great visualizations of all key financial metrics. You can see a summary of growth rates over 1, 3, 5, and 10 years. And you get quarterly and annual side by side. This is true for a ton of different metrics, even things like free cash flow per share, which is very important. So this gives you an idea of the actual cash a company is generating and their financial health. And that is crucial in determining how they return capital to shareholders via things like dividends, which many of us care a lot about. So I built out an extremely detailed dividend data tool that lets you see the frequency of the dividend payment, the payout ratios based on free cash flow and earnings per share, the current dividend yield, and the forward-looking annual dividend payment. You can see the full history mapped out over time with, again, the growth history over various periods. And then you have a table and you can see the individual dividend increases as they happen. And then again, you get visualizations of their payout ratios over time. This lets you figure out how sustainable a dividend payment may be. And all of this information is really here for the goal of helping you increase your future dividend income and avoid stocks that may be at risk of cutting their dividend payment. It also helps you find companies that are growing well into the future so that you can get a high quality total return on your investments. If you want to back out of a stock, you can click here, hit backspace, or you can go up to the top and hit clear selected ticker. That puts you back to the main page. And if you only want to look at the dividend data for the stock, we have this entire dividend data page. That gives you only that dividend information on the company so you can get quick access to directly what you're looking for. And I even put in curated lists of high quality dividend growth stocks, high yield dividend stocks, reliable dividend growers like the dividend aristocrats and the dividend kings. So if you're new to investing, this gives you a great base and list of stocks to get started from. So these two tools give you all the financial information you need to make high quality investing decisions. However, another big part of investing is understanding the actual business model of the company you're buying. Because a stock is not just a price that wiggles up and down. It's an ownership stake in a real business. So that's why I built out this AI analyst tool so that you can ask questions and understand the business models of these companies instantly. And by the way, before I give a few examples of how you can use the AI analyst, I would suggest you go over to this full tutorials tab over here on the left. There you will have a link to the AI analyst guides. And here I basically created a guide for all the different use cases of using the AI tool. That can be things like summarizing breaking news events, earnings calls, etc., analyzing the business models of a company, some dividend specific metrics like getting nice charts on dividend yield over time, understanding the factors that may impact a company's dividend safety. You can also get access to valuation tools like a discount cash flow model. So you can ask the AI analyst to value stocks for you. And there's even a built-in calculator so that you can really dive in and mess with all these different metrics and customize it. And then one of my personal favorites, the AI analyst also helps you find better companies. It has a highly detailed screener where you can search by hundreds of different financial metrics and it finds these companies for you. So for example, if you want to find a company with a 5-year dividend compound annual growth rate over 10%, a payout ratio under 60%, and earnings per share growth rate over 10%. And there are hundreds of different financial metrics you can screen by. So if you want to get access to any of these guides, head over to the full tutorials tab. Let's say you want to summarize the latest quarter and earnings call for NVIDIA. This will source from the actual earnings transcript and related financial documents, and it creates this great report so that you can easily understand what happened in the latest quarter. That's across their various business segments. And by the way, there's often embedded charts in these results, and you can look at things like total return over time. And at the bottom of any chat, you can reply with a follow-up question. So for example, you could say, what is NVIDIA's outlook? Hit reply. And you can instantly see what they said on their latest earnings call for their next quarter, which for them, they're on a little bit of an accelerated calendar. So their next quarter is Q1 2026. And then as I mentioned earlier, another important thing here is you can understand like how a business actually makes their money. So you just type a question right here. And on the side here, you have your various chats you've opened up. You can favorite them to add to the top of this bar, delete them, rename them, etc. And anytime you want to start a new chat thread, just click here, new chat. It brings you to where you can ask a new question. So for example, let's say we go back to that Microsoft example from earlier. Let's say that we want to know how the company makes money and what their various business segments are. So we could ask, what is Microsoft's business segments? How do each of them generate revenue? Please provide the latest metrics and growth rates. You hit enter. And again, this is sourced with real financial data. So we can see Microsoft's 3 business segments. That's productivity and business processes with Microsoft 365, intelligent cloud with Microsoft Azure, and more personal computing with Windows, their personal computers, and Xbox. And based on my prompt, you can see their latest revenue, their growth rate year over year, and the key drivers in each category. And again, depending on what you prompt, you'll often get these nice embedded charts with it as well so that you can understand even more about the company. And by the way, right here, you can see that it also has web search enabled. So you can analyze breaking news that doesn't even appear in the financial documents as well. So just as an example, I could say something like, what were the latest comments from Microsoft CEO on AI? How does this impact the company's strategy? And you can see that it's actually browsing articles as well as going through the company's earnings transcripts. And you can see I wrote up this very nice summary. But I want to give 3 more quick examples as well. One of them is right here on the example prompts. So if you wanted to find the valuation of a company, you could do something like discounted cash flow for Hershey stock, ticker symbol HSY. And this will basically give you another opinion on the valuation of a stock. Plus, it will give you this custom calculator if you click show more. And you can do your own discount cash flow analysis to figure out the value of the stock. So you can project different growth rates, etc. If we go back to new chat here, I'll give a quick example around dividend yield. So let's say you want to figure out more about ExxonMobil's dividend yield. You can just type in any stock and dividend yield, and it will give you a response. But really what I'm looking at for here is the chart that it gives you. You click here, go down, and it gives you yield, and you can see the daily yield of the stock throughout its history. And this is awesome for any dividend-focused investor. You can also click here and get the total return for the company over the long term. And you can even filter that from 5, 3, 1 year, etc. If we go back to new chat, the final example I'm going to show you is for the stock screener. So one of the example prompts is find US stocks with a 5-year dividend growth rate of greater than 10% and current yield of at least 1%. Click that and you will see preparing screener. And then it will provide this list of companies that fit the exact criteria you gave it. This is incredibly useful for helping you find better investments. Now, if we scroll down here to the bottom, you can add in and search for various different fields. So let's say we wanted to have earnings growth rates. So you can see here they have diluted earnings per share, 3-year compound annual growth rate. Let's add that in and say we want that over 10%. X out of adding more fields. And then to rerun the screener, all you have to do is come down here and click regenerate. Then you can see that this new category was also added and we have a slightly different list. So this is probably one of the most underrated features. I would probably recommend you always just have one of these favorited up at the top so that you have quick access just to open the screener and play around and edit whatever you want with it. So that's a pretty good breakdown of our first 3 tools over on dividenddata.com, which are all focused on analysis, helping you find better investments. And if you want even more inspiration, we have this section called Zach's Research. I am Zach. And you can get all of my different video deep dives on different stocks. Plus, you can get access to my personal stock watch list and my personal dividend growth stock portfolio. So you can stay up to date live with my different stocks. You can also see my new buys and earn dividends coming in. And this is in the exact same format that you will have if you choose to track your portfolio on dividenddata.com. And that gets us to the second main pillar, which is tracking your progress to financial freedom. So yes, we need to find better investments, but we also need to make sure we stay consistent and measure what we're actually doing. So for one, we have the watch list. You can click here, add to watch list, and type in just any stock symbol as long as it's available. We have, as you can see here, 64,000 different options. You can also put together an Excel spreadsheet and just add a bunch of different ones all at once and remove any stock from your watch list very quickly as well. And right now, the core feature of the watch list is allowing you to see price dips on all these various companies. You can compare to the 50-day price average and the 200-day price average and see which are the biggest laggards or the biggest gainers. This helps you potentially identify which companies are on sale. So right now, as I'm making this video, Fix Comfort Systems is down 15% from its 200-day price average and 23% from its 50-day price average. And by the way, for any of these, you can just click right here to the ticker symbol and it will open it up on the stock analysis page so that you can learn more about the company. Now let's get to portfolio tracking, which is another core feature of DividendData.com. Because if you haven't noticed, a lot of brokerages are not really designed for the dividend investor. They don't show you metrics like your projected dividend income or dividend insights on your overall portfolio and all the individual stocks that make it up. So for example, that could be things like the current yield, your yield on cost. And for us, if you choose to manually track your portfolio, you can even track DRIP shares, which are shares from dividend reinvestment. So if you're tracking manually, you can get this dividend snowball effect. You can also see your upcoming dividend payments and track your earned dividend income history. And by the way, you can have an unlimited number of accounts on DividendData.com. So I have my dividend portfolio, my non-dividend account, and my Roth IRA. So if you want to add your account, you can click New Account at the top, or if you don't have one, there will just be a Add New Account button. And here you can name the account and also select between 3 different types. You can do manual tracking, which I will describe in a bit, or you can automatically link your brokerage from various sources. So here you can use Plaid, which is a very popular linking tool for fintech applications. It's used in apps like Venmo and Cash App. And then you can also specifically link your Fidelity account as well. Since that is not supported by Plaid, I added in a special connection. But as an example, let's just look at the Plaid version. We'll call it Test. Click Update. And it opens this little portal here, continue as a guest, or you can add your phone number so that it remembers you more quickly. And here you can select from tons of different US brokerages. That includes things like Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, Betterment, Wealthfront, etc. You can also search, because there's probably like a few thousand options actually. And just as an example, I'll link one of my Merrill accounts. After logging in and selecting your account, you can see that starts to connect and verify the connection. And by the way, this is read only, and then it will load your investment data and it will reload the page. And boom, you have officially linked your account. You can go back to track portfolio, go down and you can see test is now loaded. And this is a different version of my dividend portfolio without dividend reinvestment tracking, but it is automatically updating and I didn't have to add anything manually. So this is definitely the best way to link your account for most use cases. And then boom, you have instant access into tracking your projected dividend income, your dividend insights on your account, all great things which are not shown in your brokerage. And it even starts to track your earned dividend history over time as well. Exactly how far it goes back depends on your various brokerages. But as an example, let's say you wanted to add another manual portfolio. We'll call that one Test 2. You can see here we add a new portfolio. You scroll over, you open up the account, and then you can edit that specific account. You have your action bar with the various buttons that you can use to edit and add different stocks. You can also switch that account to an auto portfolio. But really the 2 buttons you need to know here for starting out is Add New Investment and then Bulk Upload New Stocks. So you can add a company one at a time, see the available tickers that you can add. So let's say as an example, you want to add Microsoft. If you go to your portfolio, let's say you have 50 shares, and then you would also look at the total cost that took you to buy all of those shares. So let's say you spent $8,000 on those 50 shares. And this next box is very important for tracking your DRIP shares. Every time you add an individual investment, you want to check whether or not that came from a dividend reinvestment. But right now, let's say that these are your bought shares. So what you bought, click Update, and then you will see that Microsoft has been added to your portfolio. And if you only spent $8,000, that means you have a $160 cost per share. So you're up a good bit right now. And you'll see it broken up into all the stocks in your portfolio and then your overall portfolio value at the top. And it defaults to just adding up your dollars invested of your account, but you can also set a custom portfolio dollar invested if you've had a very long account where you're constantly selling and buying things and you have big gains and stuff, and you want to make sure that it's locked into your initial amount you invested into the account. That custom actually allows you to do the most accurate in terms of projecting your total return of what money you invested into the account versus what the current total value is. But let's give an example of doing a drip share. So click add new investment, and let's say you had Microsoft stock, you got a dividend, and let's say it gave you 0.55 shares. And let's say that cost like $200. We would check earned from dividend reinvestment, click update, and then you can see that you have 50.55 shares with 0.55 drip shares. And then you can also choose to include or exclude the drip shares from your cost basis. So that really depends whether mentally you want to think of it as drip shares being part of your return, which I actually like to think of it that way. But the important thing is if we go over to Dividend Insights, you can now see your snowball effect from reinvesting dividends. You can also bulk upload new stocks to your account. Same thing here, you create a spreadsheet, you put the ticker symbol in column A, the shares in column B, the total cost in column C, and then whether or not it came from dividend reinvestment in column D, you put yes or no. And then you just click here and add your CSV file. If you have any questions, go over here to Help Center, and it's loaded up with all these different guides for the specific pages. So those are the core pillars of DividendData.com. You have your stock analysis tools and then your portfolio tracking tools. But then a little bit of an add-on I have is Dividend News. This way you can get curated articles and news on all of the stocks you own. Plus you can get breaking dividend increases that can be on all companies or filtered by just the stocks in your portfolio and on your watch list. And you can filter that by increases, decreases, special dividends, etc. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, you can get access to our Discord community. Just click join Discord, and then you'll get an invite and you can chat with a ton of our other members. We often are sharing our buys, different stock analysis, and we also share our dividends coming in so that we can motivate each other. And then the last thing I'll share, if you want to change your credit card, sign out, or cancel, God forbid, you can head over to the Your Settings page and it will have all the instructions so you can do so. By the way, I'll move my face here, and if you have any questions at any time, just click this green box in the bottom and you can get direct access to help articles. So definitely check out the help articles as a first look if you have any questions. Make sure to enter your email and you can just chat with us. And we'll be here to help with anything, whether it's a account management problem or you want to learn how to use a tool better, etc. You can also email support@dividenddata.com if you have any questions. So yeah, that is a full walkthrough tutorial of DividendData.com. And by the way, that seems like a lot of value and it will only continue to get better. So thank you very much for supporting this small business. And I'm pretty excited and look forward for the future. So let's get investing. Thanks for watching.